Good morning, and hail, light bearers of the world. That's how our beloved Saint Germain has addressed us many times. On July 4th of each year, we celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence, completed on July 4th, 1776. July 4th was not the birth of America, but rather the conception of America. And today is not July 4th. It is, however, a good day to reinforce, to celebrate the conception of America. Today, on January 24th, 2021, I am repeating the appeal again for all of us, from the masters to every keeper of the flame or light bearer anywhere on planet Earth, no matter where you were born or where you reside. I am appealing to you to take up and renew the vision and the mandate that the victory of America is a planetary assignment and a cosmic mission for all of the I Am race. That's us, the I Am race. Our messenger, Elizabeth Clare Prophet, said that the archangels became the chief guardians of the seed of the Ancient of Days and of the sons of light who went forth out of the ancient mystery schools to teach the children of men concerning the ways of the seed of the wicked one and the snares of the watchers, that breed of cursing fallen ones who corrupted the daughters of men. And then she said that Archangel Gabriel showed me the record of our founding fathers signing the Declaration of Independence. Gabriel explained that at inner levels, these sons of God were in fact inscribing in light their response to the ancient Luciferian declaration of war against the Christ, the sons of God, dwelling among the people of earth as their true shepherds. At inner levels, that document bears the heading, Declaration of Independence of the Sons of God from the Tyranny of the Fallen Angels. All of us are here because we came on a mission, the mission of Sanat Kumara to rescue the light bearers. No matter what country we're living in or where we were born, it's about the mission to planet Earth that we are all a part of. And the great divine director, who is the guru of Saint Germain, told us that America is the heart of the great white brotherhood action in the world. And he also said that all nations are intended to gravitate to their rightful place in the sun, where the reality of cosmic law can be taught. And so he taught that India represented the head and America the heart. Lanello gave us further clarity on the order of things when he said, India is in need of a great regeneration, but it will do little for the ultimate victory if that does not come first in America. If America wins this battle, beloved hearts, understand that India will receive the full impetus and momentum. Now note that he said, if America wins this battle. Well, we are still in this battle and the outcome is not certain. Saint Germain said, for India is actually the very sole opposite of the United States. India and America are two of the greatest nations in the entire world. Although mankind are not aware of it where India is concerned, the ascended masters are. We say to you that all of the problems that America has at present, all of the distress that America questionably enjoys, can be brought to an end if we could only reach mankind with those messages of clarification which the cosmic law requires. But it is somewhat difficult to do in the short time that life has allotted to us. For I want you to know that there are many people today who do not even believe that we exist. Now, this is Saint Germain saying that about the ascended masters. Now, some may think that I'm speaking in this way because I was born in America and I live in America, or that somehow this is really just for Americans and doesn't really apply to others who are a part of this ascended master movement who live elsewhere. But it does apply to all of the souls of the I Am race. We are one. And we came on a mission together for planet Earth because we could respond to the message written in the inner parts of our hearts when we would hear the messengers and the masters speak. And all of us have played our roles in different ages, different cultures, and in different nations. When Saint Germain spoke of the grand adventure, he said, "We would like to expand today in the consciousness not only of those presently assembled here, but also in those assembled in the entire community of the United States and the world, an awareness of the oneness of life upon the planet, that we may be able to create in America in the future that holy family concept that will draw mankind together and set before the people of this planet a cup of light in the heart of America." And on another occasion, he instructed us saying, "Truly, America was designed from our octave and given so much assistance from there to be the land of the free. Now every nation and its people are dear to our hearts, for all are some expression of God's life, and his life is the only life there is. Each nation has a divine plan of its own to fulfill, and according to their divine destinies, the various nations of the world represent the various parts of the earth's body. Therefore, in the new age, the land of India shall represent the head of such an earth body, and the land of America, the heart." He said, "Take notice, please, that the name India begins with the letter I, and America with AM. Is this not significant?" The land of America, in the main so little understood by most of the dear life stream she shelters, is of far more importance to all life on this planet than most imagine. America is a land somewhat different from the others, for she has gathered to her bosom many from every land who love freedom. Since that particular virtue is the one I personally embody and is my reason for being, these individuals are particularly dear to my heart," says Saint Germain. "Is not America considered to be the melting pot of the world?" And then he said, "You will remember the words, 'conceived in liberty,' which appear in the Gettysburg Address, spoken so eloquently by the beloved Abraham Lincoln. Privileged was I to have inspired the words of that address. Therefore, designed from our octave also was the idea of placing the great Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor, that open door to your great land. The radiating light and flame of divine love from the gracious goddess of liberty through that statue, whose likeness it is a much more powerful protection to your eastern seaboard and entire nation than any unascended being has any idea." Imagine that. Think of that. That statue standing there and emanating this protection to the entire eastern seaboard and to our nation. Saint Germain continues saying, "Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Therefore, a strong and grateful love for one's country, not only his native land, but also for his adopted nation, and a fervently determined desire to have them well governed and invincibly protected at all times should not be considered as belonging only to a specified few who are able to dedicate their entire time and energies thereto. Our loyal chelas will do all they can to this end, making at least one call daily to us, and like calls should also go forth from every beating heart who lives, moves, and has his or her being within the spacious borders of this dear land. Will you give us of your life for this purpose, that we may have the authority necessary to be given from your octave to enable us to act for you?" So I ask the question, what is the necessary authority? And how do we give it to the masters? Well, I think it is our free will choice to be engaging in prayer, in decrees, in services, and in daily service to each other as individuals as we strive to walk this path. As friends of freedom, we must realize that America is on the cross. And walking the path of the cross is a course in passing initiations. Jesus came to show us how to walk the course in passing initiations. America is indeed enduring the crucifixion initiation. In 1973, Mother Mary said, "We see that the crucifixion of America is nigh. We see that the crucifixion of the feminine ray has come, and mankind are not ready for the triumph, and those who are not ready shall perish, precious ones." In 1992, 19 years later, the Buddha of the Ruby Ray said, "Yes, there is that joining with the host of the Lord, the mighty archangels, for the rescue of many and many parts of the world. This is a time, however, when you must concentrate on America itself as the United States, and on America North and South, comprising the entire hemisphere. For this is an hour, beloved, of great trial and crucifixion in these 50 states." Now that statement was made in 1992. And so we see that it becomes more and more difficult for America to become the chalice that is the melting pot of the world, and still send her treasures and her blood to the rescue of peoples and nations around this entire planetary body without falling prey to a very vicious energy that is hatred of America. This hatred of America is really hatred of the light, hatred of the Christ consciousness, hatred of the chalice where one is free enough to be able and to be allowed to rise in consciousness. And it is the hatred of the heart capacity to actually care about the rest of the world and the souls that she represents. America's victory to fulfill her divine plan is not preordained. It's up to us to make it happen. The masters have said that it is a grand experiment in freedom. A grand experiment in freedom. It's a grand experiment of the brotherhood, and the outcome is not certain. Now, some say America has made mistakes, that some of her people are arrogant, that they've misused the power and freedom that was God-given, that they are a selfish and spoiled lot, and that they now deserve what is coming upon them and upon America as a nation. It's just America's karma. And there is truth in these statements, and it is also truth that all of us together, all the light bearers who came to bear the flame of freedom in many lands, are the last best hope for the great white brotherhood. We are all Americans. You in Australia or Africa are Americans. You in Scandinavia and all of Europe are Americans. You in Russia and throughout all of Asia are Americans. And all of you in North, Central, and South America are Americans. It's important to know that America has already been reconsecrated to Mother Mary's Immaculate Heart. On July 4th, 2009, Marija, one of the visionaries of Medjugorje, that Mother Mary had been appearing to regularly, reported that the reconsecration of America to Our Lady's Immaculate Heart was accomplished, and this took place at a conference held by others in Alabama. When a friend of Medjugorje was asked what he thought of the apparition that group had observed that evening, he said, "Wait." He said he felt that with the reconsecration, everything was now in her hands, and we will now wait to see the result of the consecration. Well, while the chelas of the Great White Brotherhood might also wait, we will not and cannot be idle in our waiting. So we work. We pray, we decree, we serve, and we keep on balancing karma, not only for ourselves, but for our nation. Our beloved Lord Maitreya promised us, saying, "And when I say I will restore America to her Christhood, I am speaking of America as the I Am race. I am speaking of the I am race embodied in every nation, in every race, in every area of the planet. I come to restore that Christhood in you who have let it go down, and some of you have let it go down to the very ground, and you have lost that light. Now, there is a footnote to this particular quotation that further clarifies. It says the word America is composed of 7 letters, which form the words I am race. So these two, America and I am race, have the exact same 7 letters in them. The term I am race refers collectively to a group of souls from all nations who have one thing in common. They all have an I am presence and threefold flame. A member of our community had an encounter with the messenger about the appearances of Mother Mary at Medjugorje. While attending a conference in another city along with her family, she had been asked to deliver a packet of materials about the Mother Mary apparitions, along with some photos taken during the apparitions, to the messenger. To my friend's surprise, they actually encountered the messenger on the airplane. The packet was delivered, and when the flight was concluded, Mother was waiting for my friend to get off the plane. They spoke together about the images and the reports. Mother shared that one of these pictures of an apparition was a picture of Mother Mary, that it is true, and that it is very important. One thing is, or should be, very clear. It is enlightened self-interest for each one of us and for all of the nations where we are currently stationed to pray and act for the victory of America as an intended model nation. And our chief, beloved El Morya, said, "We are not separatists regarding America. We say that this is the place of the experiment of the Great White Brotherhood and of the endowment of Saint Germain. We say that if the experiment fails here, it will not succeed anywhere else. For the peculiar people of ancient Atlantis and even Lemuria have reincarnated here in America to take up where they left off and to finish the work begun. And so America is more than a nation. It is yet a symbol to all people of the ongoing possibility for the realization of individual and world freedom. The realization of this possibility therefore rests upon the shoulders of those who have known freedom in the past, those who have embraced it and realized the expansion of the flame of liberty in the heart. And El Morya described the valor and courage of men like General George Washington, who declined to be king and was America's first president. And he said that those days of the early American patriots were the days when there did surely hang in the balance the entire blueprint for America. Much has come between the blueprint and that which should have manifested in the earth, much that must be righted. Yet it can be righted, for Saint Germain has released the dispensation of the golden age of Aquarius, and our Mother Liberty stands tall in this hour, stands tall, beloved, to inspire every heart with its own mission. Now think of that. We each have our own mission. And that blueprint is yet there, overlaid upon the 50 states and more, overlaid upon the I am race residing in many nations. Elizabeth Clare Prophet said, "When Guy Ballard was embodied as George Washington, Saint Germain anointed him our first president. In this century, the Master called upon him to re-embody and to work with the American people, this time to give them the knowledge of the I am presence and of themselves as the I am race. The I am race is composed of citizens of all nations who have the I am presence and the divine spark within them. So the one whom we know today as the Ascended Master Godfrey returned in this century to deliver to us the missing link to our spiritual identity and to our placing the capstone on the pyramid of our civilization. And as the messenger, our mother, Elizabeth Clare Prophet, has stumped the nations to bring that message to those of the I am race everywhere, and some among this very company gathered here today were at her side while she did it. Thank you. So the Brotherhood sponsored this soul of the Ascended Master Godfrey to come and serve as General George Washington, leading through the Revolutionary War, and then as President George Washington. He came to work in cooperation and in conflict with the other founding fathers of America, and then to come again as Guy Ballard, messenger of the I Am movement, to bring us the knowledge of who we are as the I Am race. And so we come to realize that the fulfillment of the blueprint for America is in peril now. However, the blueprint itself is still there. America's victory is the key to India's victory and to every nation's victory on planet Earth. And Earth's victory to become Freedom's star may determine the outcome for this entire section of cosmos. So the work that we are about is a substantial work. There's nothing petty or unimportant about it. We must wake up and help others to wake up. America is on the cross. If not us, who will step up to take America's offering of the potential to become the Christ down from the cross, just as Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus did for Jesus, who demonstrated the Christ for us to see and witness and to be? Who? It must be us. It is our mission. And that is the call to action to each one of us today. All of us who live in America and all of us on the planet who are Americans, those who have an I Am presence and a threefold flame. The initiation of the crucifixion is the precursor to the resurrection and the ascension. We have to go through the crucifixion to get to the resurrection and the ascension. Now is the time to invoke and to affirm the victory of these initiations for ourselves, for America as a nation, and for every nation on planet Earth. So this is our call to action. This is an invitation and a reminder for all of us to enter into novenas of decrees, fiats, simple prayers, and meditations on behalf of America and the fulfillment of America's divine plan. Each of us can make contact with others we know in other nations and invite them to create and initiate their own devotions or novenas on behalf of America, because they too are Americans. Call them on the phone, write to them. Share with them that America is in trouble now and needs the focus of their prayers and their ability to call down the light on behalf of America and indeed on behalf of every nation on this planet. Share with them how important they as individuals are to this key to Earth's victory as Freedom's star. Remember how all of us invoke the consecration of Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary on behalf of Russia and her people? We have done this for years. Remember how America has come to the rescue of peoples oppressed, helped to liberate Europe, and in recent years has only a few staunch nations who stand with her in faraway places fighting the battle for freedom. We must remember the mission. Remember Sana Kamara, who was willing to come alone to rescue Earth as a dark star. Remember how the 144,000 would not allow him to come alone, and they came with him. Excuse me. Remember how the 144,000 would not allow him to come alone, and they came with him. Remember the divine blueprint, and let us raise up an army of light around the world in support of America now. Every decree and prayer we have can be given in support of America's victory. Even the simple mantra of God bless America can be uttered many times in a day as we move about our day, as we're driving, as we're cleaning house, as we're doing all the other chores that are before us. And we can give the decree that Saint Germain suggested we give. This is not in our decree books, but it is in the Pearls of Wisdom, Volume 2, number 20 by Saint Germain. And it is in our Sunday bulletin for today's service. In 1973, Saint Germain implored us, saying, "Now will you give your all and make this the greatest victory of the Golden Age culture that the world has ever known, that America has ever known, that mankind has ever seen, that America might stand and stand fast through all of the crucifixion and the darkness that is upon her, and come forth as the greatest domain of light bearers, who then shall go forth with the true teaching of the law to every nation and kindred, every people and every tongue, setting forth the true teaching of the everlasting gospel that shall raise all into the Christ consciousness and ultimately the planetary body into the ascension itself." Have you actually thought about that before? Have you thought about planet Earth ascending? What a sight it would be. Mighty Victory summed it up for us in the year 2000 as we stood on the brink of a new century. He said, "Precious hearts, as a nation, America is destined to be the great example of victory. As Jesus Christ was the avatar for the Piscean age, so America is the pilot nation selected by the Ascended Masters. Here, people of every race, nationality, and creed may merge their energies, their very blood in the melting pot, so that the threefold flame of Christ may come forth in balanced manifestation, so that the Constitution of America, written by Saint Germain as a divine document, might find parallel in the constitution of all nations upon earth." When was the last time you read the Constitution of America? It might make a lovely assignment for this week, since there are many who are working around the edges of our Constitution. Saint Germain said, "Precious hearts, ponder well that it is not America, her government, or her people who are at fault. It is the infiltration of the fallen ones, the dark ones, and their systems of chaos and disintegration, their failure to pass the test of the 10, their abuse of capitalistic society by the laggard consciousness of greed, their failure to uphold the Christ as the head of every business, every government, every household. Thus America must return to the feet of our God. Americans en masse must unite to preserve the flame of freedom. Right or wrong, that which is unreal can be consumed. That which is real can be set on high as a goal, as an ensign for all nations and all peoples." He said, "Dedicate yourself to the flame of freedom. Renew your fervor and dedication to the flame that is the reality of America. We do not ask you to dedicate yourselves to the corrupt ones who corrupt others, to their flaws, failures, or to darkness. Nay, we ask you to dedicate yourselves to the principles of the victory of the Christ light in this people, who yet retain to this very hour the greatest light and the greatest love of any people upon the globe." Saint Germain says, "And I say this as my analysis from inner levels." And we know that Saint Germain has some experience in these matters. He said, "Believe it and know that the potential for victory for the entire planet is here. America is the fulfillment of the flame of the Holy Spirit in the Western Hemisphere." Just think of that. America is the fulfillment of the flame of the Holy Spirit in the Western Hemisphere. The Northern and Southern Hemispheres of America must be united and serve together with the understanding of the threefold flame as power, wisdom, and love, so that the seventh root race might be born, that the archetypes of freedom might be etched in fire for the victory of an age, the Aquarian age of the light bearers. And Saint Germain concludes with this declaration for all of us. We lead with the flame of victory. Let us say that together as a fiat, together. We lead with the flame of victory. We lead with the flame of victory. We lead with the flame of victory. Amen.